Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome back to the channel. Well, we're starting a new playthrough, and the new playthrough is Eldritch Horror, and we're going to be playing the brand new expansion, Under the Pyramids. So, let's have a quick look. There we go, there's the rule book, it's nice. So, what's different? Well, it's the usual for any expansion. We've got a couple of new ancient ones. We've got a new sideboard, so it is a big box expansion, so you do get a new sideboard. We've got new monsters, we've got new epic monsters, new preludes, we've got new assets, new encounter cards, and we'll see all those during the gameplay. What we're obviously going to do is we are going to use one of the ancient ones, and we're going to use the sideboard. And the ancient one we're going to use, as you've probably guessed, seeing as you've sat through the introduction, is Nephren-Ka, also known as the Dark Pharaoh. We'll have a closer look at him when we have a look at the sideboard. This, as usual, is just your usual map for the base game. So I thought what we'd do is we may as well pick 4 investigators out of the base game, out of Under the Pyramids. You get 8 new investigators. As you can see, there's Sampson, he's on the top. And what we'll do is we'll just do a quick shuffle, and then we'll just pick whoever's on the bottom. In good Eldritch style, pick the cards off the bottom, and we'll see who we will have as investigators. So our first investigator is, funnily enough, it's Hank. Our second investigator is Harvey Walters. The third investigator is Monterey Jack, who we've just seen in Dunwich. And the last investigator is Joe Diamond. So unfortunately none of the ladies made it. So Mandy didn't make it, Sister Mary didn't make it, Rex or Min. So we've got 4 gentlemen, which is... I've been watching quite a few playthroughs by Solo McLaughlin and Callisto. Solo McLaughlin did 4 ladies in Arkham, and Callisto's been doing 4 ladies in Eldritch. So it looks like the lads are having a go this time. So we've got Joe, we've got Monterey, we've got Harvey, and we have Hank. So we've picked our investigators. Obviously the game board was set up. We'd also set up all our tokens and everything. So let's go through our investigators. Welcome back. Here we are in no particular order. Joe Diamond, the Private Eye. So let's have a look at him. Well, he certainly looks like a man of action. This is my pointing straw. Joe Diamond, the Private Eye. Action. Choose ally, service or weapon. Then discard 1 asset from the reserve and replace it with 1 random asset from the deck that has the chosen trait. So you have a look at the reserve. If there's ally, service or weapon, he can state that, and then he can change it over for another ally, service or weapon of the same type. His other action, his passive, once per round when you improve a skill, also improve 1 other skill of your choice. Ooh, that'd be pretty good. I was hired for a job. Evil gods or no, I aim to finish it. Right on, Joe. That's what we like. So, looks a bit of a combat model. He's got 7 stamina, 5 sanity. His law, middle of the road on 2. Influence, not bad, 3. Observation, excellent. His strength, okay, 2. And his will is okay at 2. So he's got 1 starting asset, and that's a .32 Colt pocket. Item is a weapon. You roll 1 additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. So that's pretty good, you get a re-roll. So excellent stuff. So put that back down there. Let's flip him over to the other side. Well, he starts in San Francisco in the United States. And let's read about his personal story. The dame who hired Joe was square, and the job seemed easy on the surface. She paid in advance to have Joe find some codger and deliver a crate. But Joe does not walk into situations without knowing the score. The codger was a member of the Silver Twilight Lodge, and that crate had been stolen from a museum in Istanbul. Like a sucker, Joe went to the cops. For his trouble, he got a broken nose, a dead client, and somebody stole his cargo. Now Joe is ready for a little payback. I bet he is. So this is Joe, and he's going to be the first investigator by lieu of I picked him up first. Right, let's see who's next. And next up we have Monterey Jack, the archaeologist. His action: you may discard one artifact to retreat doom by 1, or discard the top card of the expedition encounter deck and perform 1 additional action. After resolving an expedition encounter, gain 1 relic unique asset. Cool. To find a treasure like that, I'll risk a few poison darts. That's the spirit, Monty. So he's pretty good. He's got, again, very similar to Joe Diamond. He's got 7 stamina and 5 sanity. His law, okay at 2. Influence, okay at 2. Observation, 3, better than average. Strength, excellent at 4. And his will is 2. Now, he's got 2 starting items. The first one is the treasure map, which is a trinket, and it's a unique asset. When you gain this card from the deck, place 1 random clue face up on this card. After resolving a location encounter or an expedition encounter on that space, flip this card. So, here are the clues. So, let's pick one out. What's this? 15, Cape Town. So that's not too bad. So we'll place that on there. That's pretty good. And his other starting item is obviously the trusty bullwhip. So item weapon, gain +1 strength during combat encounters. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. So a couple of weapons for both Joe and Jack there, where you get a re-roll. Excellent stuff. Right, let's have a quick look on the back. Let's see what we've got here. Well, he starts at the pyramids, so that's pretty good. We've got the bullwhip and we've got the treasure map. Let's read his personal story. Young Jack travelled the world with his father's archaeological expeditions. He acquired the nickname Monterey after a bout of quinine-induced jaundice turned his skin yellow. Once grown, Jack became an accomplished archaeologist in his own right. Now he must explore his own past. His father was found murdered, with an arcane sigil carved into the old man's forehead. Here in Cairo, he has seen men wearing this sigil on pendants around their neck. It is time for Jack to start digging. Cool. Go for it, Monty. Right, so that's Monterey Jack. Let's see who's next. And here we are with Harvey, the Professor. Action. Another investigator on your space improves 1 skill of his choice if your value for that skill is equal to or higher than his. Excellent. Passive. After resolving a research encounter, you may spend 1 clue you gain from that encounter to improve 1 skill of your choice. Great stuff. I have experience dealing with these sorts of horrors. Well, you'll definitely need that experience, Harv. Defo. So he's only got 4 stamina, but he does have 8 sanity, so he looks like a bit of a magic user to me. His skills, his law's above average with 3, influence average at 2, observation better than average at 3, strength 2, and his will is better than average at 3. He has 1 starting possession, which is the Ancient Tome. So, it's an item, and it's a relic tome. Action. You study the words of the long dead language. So, law test. If you pass, you may spend 1 sanity to gain 1 clue, 1 spell, or 1 task unique asset. Coolness. So hopefully he should have a few spells shortly. Right, let's flip him over and have a quick read. So he starts in Arkham in the United States. He's got the Ancient Tome asset, as we've just seen. Let's have a read of his personal story. In the time since Harvey Walters earned his master's degree in journalism from Miskatonic University, a lot has happened to him. His journalistic career took him into the roles of mystic and psychic investigator, which in turn led him to earn doctorates in history and archaeology. There is perhaps no sane man alive who knows more about the occult than Harvey. Now his ongoing struggle against the darkness has brought him back to his alma mater here in Arkham. Cool. Excellent stuff. Righto, let's have a look at our next investigator. And here he is, Hank Sampson, the farmhand. So, his action, test strength. If you pass, discard one monster on your space with toughness less than or equal to your test result. His passive, you do not resolve the will test during a combat encounter unless you lose health from the strength test. Folks are in trouble. I don't gotta be a genius to help out. That's right, Hank. So he's got 8 stamina, which is brilliant. He's only got 4 sanity, but so long as he doesn't lose any health when he's beating stuff to smithereens, he hopefully won't lose too much sanity. So let's have a look at his skills. Law 1 is appalling. Influence 2 is okay. Observation 3, that's pretty good. Strength 4's excellent, and his will of 3 is pretty good too. So that's, apart from his law, that's not too bad. Let's have a look at his personal starting item, which is a sledgehammer. So it's just an item. You gain +1 strength, so his strength's 5. Gain +2 strength during combat encounters. The man is just a one-man wrecking machine, baby. So that's Hank. Let's have a flip him over. Have a look. So he starts on space 6, which is Dallas. Except it'll be New Orleans. If we had Jim Culver, they just change it around, man. But for the sake of Hank Sampson, it's Dallas. He's got his sledgehammer asset. We've just had a look at that. Let's have a read of his personal story. Since he was a kid, Hank has crossed the country working on farms and ranches. In Texas, he saw a giant bird-like creature tear cattle to pieces. Everyone else ran, but Hank cracked that creature's skull open with his maul. Thinking nothing of it, he included the story in a letter to his father. Now his pa is missing, and folks in Dallas say someone's looking for Hank. If they thought they were going to scare him, they were wrong. Hank ain't afraid of anything, and he aims to find his pa. Go on, Hank. You do it. Right. So that's our investigators. So I'll just set Hank up, and then we'll move back to the board. And here we are, back in, I was going to say back at the baseboard. I was going to say back in Arkham then. No! Well, no, here we are, back on the baseboard, and let's just see where all our investigators are. Monterey Jack is at the pyramids, and the rest of the boys are in the US of A. So we've got Harvey in Arkham, we've got Hank, Space 6, and we have Joe in San Francisco. Just up here we've got 3 of the gates from the Mountains of Madness Antarctica sideboard. We're not using that, so I've just popped them up there if you were wondering what they were. So that's the setup for the investigators. Next we'll do the ancient one, so we'll pop across to the new sideboard and have a look at it. And here is the Under the Pyramid sideboard. As you can see, there are 6 new locations. So starting from over here in the Sahara Desert, it's a wilderness space. You can improve skills. You can also, there's a local path to space 10 on the main board. Then moving across, we've got Alexandria, where you can gain glamour spells. It's a city space. In between the Sahara and Alexandria, we've got an uncharted path. So that's Alexandria. That has a local path to the pyramids, which is on the main board, as does the Bent Pyramid. Again, it's another wilderness space. You can gain artifacts there. So that is a wilderness location. Cairo, city location. You can gain relic unique assets there. And it also connects by ship to Space 17. That's on the main board. Going down to the Nile River, you can recover health and sanity. It's a wilderness space. Again, we have another ship. You can, it must be going down the Nile on a boat when you can get to Tel Al Amarna, where you can gain clues, another wilderness area. And the Nile River also has a local pathway to the heart of Africa. So this is the sideboard, and those are the different locations. There are some encounter decks. Alexandria, the Bent Pyramid and Cairo have an Egypt encounter deck, whereas the Sahara Desert, Tel El Amarna and the Nile River have an African encounter deck. And when you get down here, as usual, you can use those encounters should you wish. Bit of a legend here. Obviously the green is the local paths, Uncharted is the yellow, and the ship is the white pathways. Some rules: during setup, set aside one mummy monster, one sand dweller monster and one spawn of Sibak monster, and I've done that. Those three are here, just at the top here. Down, and next, once per round during the action phase, an investigator may move along any number of interconnected local paths without performing an action. Now you can only do that once. Remember, in Eldritch Horror you can't do two similar actions in the same round, so you can't do two gain influence actions or anything like that. Sorry, test influence actions. If you're on a city space, you can't, without a ship ticket, you can't move, ship or train ticket, you can't move twice, that sort of thing. Well, it's the same if you use this. So you can use these paths to move around as much as you like. So you could go from Cairo to the pyramids to Tel El Amarna, and that wouldn't cost you an action at all. But you can't do it again. So you can only do it once per turn. And that's what that means. So, but it does allow you to get around the board a bit quicker. So that's pretty cool. Right, so that's the sideboard. So who are we up against? Well, let's have a look at him. Nephren-Ka, the Dark Pharaoh. He's a mean looking mother, isn't he? He's only got 12 on his Doom track. So his cultists, they do have a horror check. So you do have to make a will test, and obviously if you fail you will lose one sanity. They've only got one toughness. You do not fight them with strength, you fight them with law, and that's at a -1 modifier. If you fail that, you do lose a health. Now, they've got a reckoning. An investigator on this space or an adjacent space loses 1 health or 1 sanity. So that's pretty nasty, really. During the setup, we set aside all Nephren-Ka special encounters, which we have done, and set up the Egypt sideboard, which we have done. Let's have a look at him himself. On a reckoning, each investigator may move 1 space towards the Bent Pyramid. Then each investigator that did not move loses 1 sanity. When 3 mysteries have been solved, the investigators win the game, so that's pretty normal. When Nephren-Ka awakens, flip this sheet and resolve the Nephren-Ka awakens effect on the back. Little flavour text. Evil stirs beneath the sands of Egypt as the Brotherhood of the Beast, a cult with mysterious loyalties, searches for the final resting place of the Dark Pharaoh Nephren-Ka, seeking to fulfill the prophecy of his resurrection. Woo! We won't flip this over, we'll flip it over at such time as we have to take him on. If we have to take him on. Hopefully he won't wake up. So we'll put him back over where he sits. That's pretty cool. The other thing that we have to do is we have to take a prelude card. So considering that we've got the Under the Pyramids expansion, I have taken the Under the Pyramids card. Bruised, dehydrated and short of breath, you lean against the limestone pillar, gasping for air. Behind you, a black pit in the sand reveals the entrance to some lost passage beneath the pyramid. Your skin is raw and blooded where the ropes have chafed you. By luck you escaped, but soon your captors will notice your absence. The roar of some profane creature echoes forth from the pit, and you fear that your presence here has not gone unnoticed. Wahahaha. Right, during step 5 of setup, determine Ancient One, which we're in now, set up the Egypt sideboard. Well, we've done it. After resolving setup, if Nephren-Ka is the Ancient One, and he is, search the gate stack for all gates that correspond to spaces on the Egypt sideboard. And there they are, there's 3 of them. Randomise the gate stack and place those gates on top in random order. Then spawn 1 monster on the active expedition space and 1 monster on the bent pyramid. Right. Oh, and there's a final bit at the bottom before we just crack on doing that. If Nephren-Ka is not the Ancient One, set aside the Museum Heist adventures, then draw the Framed for Theft adventure. But Nephren-Ka is, so we're not using those adventures. Right, so we've got the 3 here. I've already randomised the others, so we'll just do that. So that just guarantees that our first 3 gates are going to be round here, baby. So pop that on the top of the gate stack, which is on the compass rose. The next bit is we've got to spawn some monsters, but we do not yet know where the expedition space is. So just before we spawn those monsters, let's get the expedition deck. Here it is. We'll give it a quick shuffle and then we'll cut it, and we'll see where the expedition is. Right, so there we go. Let's cut it. And the expedition is at, is it Sunny Arkham or is it Rome? No, it's not Rome. I think it's no, it's Buenos Aires. I'm an idiot. Yep, so the expedition is at Buenos Aires. Right. So first thing, let's get the token. There we go. There's the expedition token. It's on Buenos Aires. And we've also got to pick a monster. Here's the bag. And we pick... Whoop. We have a ghoul. There is a ghoul in Buenos Aires. Okay. And the monster for the bent pyramid is... Right. Out. We have a fire vampire, which is nasty. It's got a reckoning. Cool. So we've done that. And that is the prelude that we are using. I'll put that up here. So that's the sideboard. Can get to it from the pyramids, you can get to it from space 10, space 17 and the heart of Africa. And with all those gates about to open in it, we'll probably have to get there, so somebody there pretty sharpish. Okay, so that's step 5. Let's move on, go back to the main board. And welcome back to the main board. So we've done all the encounter decks and what have you. So next thing is the good old Mythos deck that we've got to set up. Now one thing I noticed with Nephren-Ka, he gets 15 cards, but his first 4 in stage 1 have 2 rumours in them. 2 rumours and 2 yellow and 2 yellow ones, which I think are they surges? I can't remember exactly, but it's very like Cthulhu. He's a bit of a beast to start off with. So these are the green cards. Give them a quick shuffle and a cut. These are the yellow ones. I've shuffled them before, but do it again. Go. And the horrible blue cards. Right, so Mythos Stage 1 for Nephren-Ka is we get 2 yellow and we get 2 blue. So this is Stage 1 and we give them a bit of a shuffle, so that's Stage 1. Stage 2 is 1 green and 3 yellow. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And the last stage is 3 green. 1, 2, 3. And 4 yellow. 1, 2, 4. Right. Right, so there we go. So they're last. They go on top, and that goes on top there. So that is our Mythos deck. Put that here, just under Nephren, and all these guys can disappear. Right, so we've set up the Mythos deck, and now we've got to resolve the starting effects. So here we've got the reference, we've got 4 players, we spawn 1 gate, we spawn 2 clues, and if we get a monster surge we have 2. Doom token, it's on 12, so we're fine, that's where it should be. The Omen token is on the green comet, so that's fine. Oh, we've got to place the top 4 cards of the asset deck. So here's the asset deck. As you can see, it's getting quite thick now. So I've shuffled this, but we'll give it another rough shuffle. Right. So first thing is a cat burglar, an ally. Cost of 1. We've got an urban guide, another ally, cost of 4. After that, we've got another ally, private investigator. Shuffled all the allies together. So cost of 2. And finally, oh, something that isn't an ally, a secret page, which is an item tome. So those are our 4 assets that go along with the ever-present bank loan. So they're ready to go. And spawn the number of gates. So we're spawning 1 gate. This is going to go over to the sideboard, as we know. And it is the Nile River. So we've got a gate at the Nile. And we need a monster to go on it. And we get a Leng spider. I hate these dudes. Mind you, there's not many of them alike, to be perfectly honest. Right, so put the Leng spider, the Nile River. We've already placed the active expedition token. We spawn the number of clues indicated on the reference card, which is 2. So that's the first one, which is space 4, which is followed by space 2. 2 and 4. So 2's in sort of the Pacific, just off San Francisco, and 4 is in the Canadian wilderness. Cool. Righty-ho. That's the clues. Draw 1 mystery card and let's place it near the Ancient One sheet. Right. Well, these are the mystery cards. Do the usual, just mix them up a bit. cut as well. And this will be our first mystery. Worshippers of a forsaken pharaoh. The Church of Starry Wisdom was founded upon the premise of unlocking the mysteries of the shining trapezohedron. Now they aim to bring about the return of Nephren-Ka, the Dark Pharaoh. After an investigator resolves a location encounter on the Egypt sideboard, he may place one clue. He may spend one clue to track down the followers of the Dark Pharaoh. If he spends the clue, a cultist monster ambushes him. If he defeats it, place one Eldritch token on this card. At the end of the Mythos phase, if there are Eldritch tokens on this card equal to the investigators, so we need 4, solve this mystery. So that is our mystery to kick off with. So I'll put that there. So, Worshippers of a Forsaken Pharaoh is our mystery. And we are set up to go. So, I hope you will join me next time for turn 1 of Eldritch Horror Nephren-Ka. Until then, anybody who's got any thoughts about how to proceed, any ideas to get set off or whatever, by all means, put them in the comments. That's the end of this episode. So until next time, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.